we had more or less the same discussions in our group. So we started by trying to refine a common understanding about the very concept of rule of law. How do we define the term? And we took as a very important departure point, at least at the international level. As a reference, we started from the report of the United Nations Secretary General on the rule of law and transitional justice in conflict and post-conflict scenarios or societies. This document defines the concept as a principle of governance in which all persons, institutions, entities, public and private, including the state itself, are accountable to laws that are publicly promulgated, equally enforced and independently adjudicated, and in which which are consistent with international human rights norms and standards. So we took this as a working definition, and we compared this to what currently exists in Eritrea in a national context. And we made some references to Eritrean laws, consensus documents of the government in power, like the 1994 Charter of PFDJ, including the 1997 Constitution and other operational Eritrean laws. And after discussing this, we also tried to, of course, examine the current challenges and problems of rule of law. And then finally, in a forward-looking manner, we tried to suggest some solutions or ideas for improvement. First and foremost, there is a need to defeat the current repressive political system in Eritrea. And then what comes next is, of course, the need to establish a government of national unity. There was a heated debate on the issue of the 1997 Eritrean Constitution. One view saying that the very process which led to the drafting and adoption and ratification of the 1997 Constitution was flawed, and therefore it raises critical issues of legitimacy. And as a document which supposedly came out from such very controversial process, how can we take the 1997 Constitution as a reliable document? This was one view. The second view was that, from a very pragmatic point of view, it's always important to have something, or as the saying goes, something is better than nothing. We can take the 1997 Constitution as a starting document, start the transition, and see the needs for drafting a new one, if need be, or improving the old one. So this was a very divisive issue, and I'm sure this will also continue to be in our plenary session. And finally, of course, we also underscored the need to do advanced planning and coordination in our diaspora communities, in our grassroots movements, because, as already mentioned by Paulos, we can be taken by surprise. The regime may collapse anytime soon. It could be tomorrow, it could be next week. And we have something ready to go to the next level of the forthcoming transition period in Eritrea? So these are the important talking points we discussed. If I have forgotten some points, of course, the colleagues from the other breakout session can always complement that. And I look forward to your comments and questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. Okay. Can we give thanks